Hi everyone, myself Pawan Kumar Yogi from Department of Electrical Engineering in Arya College of Engineering and IT Kukas Jaipur. Today I record a video lecture on Power System Planning Unit 1. Today we discussed a topic power system planning. We know the power system planning is done by industries and utility companies for future load. Power system planning studies consist of studies for the next 1 to 10 year or higher. Power system planning is a process in which the aim is to decide on new as upgrading existing system elements to adequately satisfy the loads for a foreseen future. The elements of the power system planning. There are some elements of power system planning: generation facilities, substations, transmission lines and cables, capacitors, reactors. Now we study static versus dynamic planning. Basically, the static and dynamic planning are different. In static planning, we plan for a single stage, while in dynamic planning, we plan for all stages. So, they assume that our task is to decide on the subject given above for 2015 to 2020 if the peak loading conditions are to be investigated. The studies involve six loading conditions. One way is to study each year separately, irrespective of the other years. This type of study is referred to as static planning, which focus on planning for a single stage. The other is to focus on all six stages simultaneously so that the solution is found for all six stages at the same time. This type of study is named as dynamic planning. Means in static planning we plan for single stage, and dynamic planning we plan for all six stages. Now transmission versus distribution planning. Three main levels for power system structure, namely transmission, subtransmission, and distribution. Distribution level is often planned or at least operated radially. Mostly the distributions are radially used. Now long term versus short term planning. Power system planning issue may cover a period of 1 to 10 years or even more. For the peak loading condition of the coming year, a power system utility expert noticed that from the two lines feeding a substation, one would be overloaded by 10% of its rating, while the other would be loaded by 60% of its rating. If a control device is installed on one line, the load distribution may be balanced on both sides. Means when a control device is installed on a single side, the load distribution balanced on both sides. Once decided, the installation process of this device can be performed in such a way that no problem arises for the coming year. This is typical short transmission planning. The load forecasting for the coming year show that with all already available and planned generations, there would be a shortfall of generation in 9 years from now. After a careful study, the planner decided on adding a new 500 megawatt steam power plant at a specific bus in that year. Its construction should start well in advance so that it would be available at the required time. The long term transmission planning is done for 9 years or more. Now, basic issues in transmission planning. There are some issues in transmission planning. First one is load forecasting. In last lecture, we study about load forecasting. Basically, load forecasting three types. First one is short-term load forecasting. Short-term load forecasting done for 1 day to 1 week. Second one is medium term load forecasting. Medium term load forecasting is done from 1 week to 10 weeks. Or last one is the long term load forecasting. Long term forecasting is done for 1 year to 10 years. Now, the first crucial step for any planning study is to predict the consumption for the study period, as all subsequent studies will be based on that. However, it is understood that a short term load forecasting used for operational studies is significantly different from the long term one used in planning studies. In a short term load forecasting, for predicting the load, for instance, of the next week, we come across predicting the load for each hour of the coming week. Means in load forecasting, we forecast for 1 hour to 1 week. It is obvious that the determining factors may be weather condition, special TV programs, and similar. Obviously, the determining factors are different. The factors are population rate increase, GDP means gross domestic product, and similar terms have dominant effects. Second one is generation expansion planning. After predicting the load, the next step is to determining the generation requirement to satisfy the load. An obvious simple solution is to assume a generation increase equal to load increase. We know the generation is based completely on demand. If, for instance, in year 2015 the peak load would be 40,000 megawatt and at that time the available generation is 35,000 megawatt. An extra generation of 500 megawatt would be required. Means the extra generation by power plant is done according to requirement. Net, Network expansion planning. The network expansion planning issue is a process in which the network means transmission line, cable, etc. specification are determined. Means in network expansion planning we plan for the specification of transmission lines and cables. In fact, that network is a media for transmitting the power efficiently and in a reliable manner from generation resources to the load center. Next, reactive power planning. In national expansion planning, the voltage are assumed to be flat and reactive power flow are ignored. The main reason is that fact that constructing a line is not considered as a main tool for voltage improvement. Moreover, the running time of national expansion planning can be exceptionally high, or even the solution may not be possible if AC load flow is employed. That is why in practice national expansion planning is normally based on using direct current load flow. Means national expansion planning is used for direct current load flow. Upon running generation expansion planning SCP and NEP, the network topology is determined. However, it may perform unsatisfactorily if a detailed AC load flow is performed based on existing algorithm. To solve such a difficulty, static reactive power compensators such as capacitors and reactors may be used. Moreover, some more flexible reactive power resources are required. The problem is, however, the problem for these reactive power resources installation is where to install these devices, what capacity do we have to employ, what types do we have to use. These are the problems to install the reactive power resources. These type of studies are commonly referred to as reactive power planning and are clear required step in power system planning process. Thank you.